Episode 3, more disassembly. Welcome back to Shop on the Channel and to episode 3, as I said, of the saw stop upgrade overhaul. And it is essentially more disassembly. So the instruction sheets, yay. The next thing is to remove the electronics. And I've already taken off the box, the switch box. Now what needs to come out now is the contactor box, the master switch box, and disconnect everything. Oh, and the micro switch for both doors. Now let me show you quickly. I showed this pretty much in the first video, but so the contactor box as it comes from SawStop is the complete unit. I'm sure this comes right out of the factory assembly area where they have a crew that assembles these and then they're put into the saw. So the micro switches for both doors, the new master switch, and the new contactor are all ready to go. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have the Molex connector, and somewhere along here there is the, where is it? Somewhere. Anyway, the DB9, no, the DB9 plug, like somewhere else. That's, oh, the DB9 plug is from the new Arbor. The Molex connector is from this. But let me show you a little thing I found. So I was this is very stiff, by the way. It's been in there for quite a long time. But as I cranked the saw over to the side to do a little bit of looking over here how to remove things, I found this. I have no idea how long it's been like that, but I think that might cause my dust collection to suffer just a little bit, just a wee bit. So I'm going to put in another piece of hose that, I mean, this is nice. It's got the smooth inside, but it is a little bit on the stiff side. I think it's been sitting for kind of in that one position for a long time. I'll decide later, because this is one of the last things I put back into the saw. I can trim this off or I can put a new piece on. So first thing I need to do is take the screws out for the contactor box, which is down the bottom of the saw. Let me see, I've got the motor tipped over out of the way. Let's see if I can get the camera over here so we can get a look at that. We're inside the saw now. This is the contactor box. It's the same exact form factor as the new one. So the new one will just bolt right, screw right in here. Now the screws are in the four corners, here, 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 and here. I really won't be able to get this on camera, I don't think. I can reach the rear ones from this door. This is the right-hand dome door where the motor cranks into, and I'm shooting this through the left-hand door where you get to the belts and everything. So that's got to be unscrewed first, so it's free to roam around at will. Well, I got all 4 screws out too. I was able to get on camera. So this is now free and clear to navigate. So the next step is to remove the power cord from the junction box outside of the cabinet. What I need to remove is this white wire, this white wire, this black wire, and this green wire. And then these connectors have to remain in place. So let's get those off. Okay. Put this back where it was. Okay, so now the power cord is free. Let me see if I can pull it through. I think I can. There's a grommet I might have to get out of the way. Move the grommet. Well, these don't want to come out. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. So this is now disconnected from the master power switch. The next step is to remove the master power switch. And that's involving taking the red cover off, taking the yellow cover off, and then the thing just flops away. Needs a little tiny screwdriver for this. First thing to do here, little tiny screwdriver, number one, is remove the red knob. And I think this screw doesn't have to come all the way out. Okay, there we go. Now, the next step is there's two Phillips head screws in here that hold this. Oh, it's not Phillips head. I'll be darned. Oh, I used a blade screwdriver in there. Grab a couple of those. The idea is to remove this knob shield or whatever, and that'll allow the switch box to, this switch box to fall away from the cabinet. Can't believe there's something on here without Phillips head screws on it. And there's a new one of this that goes into the system, and there it is. That's off. So I've got the meat of it off. Now, the other parts that were connected were the micro switches. There's one here, and there's one over there, and they're screwed in from the outside. So let's get this one off here. Oops. Yeah, Phillips head. Bring the camera up so you can see what the hell's going on here. So the micro switch is here to make sure the door's closed. Come on, get in there. Put that down. Because it came with new screws. So this is the left door micro switch. I'll go over and get the other one off, and then we'll pull this. I have to cut some tie wraps and things, and then we can pull this whole assembly out. I've got it all disconnected. Now, I didn't show you this on camera, but there are several zip tie clips on the floor of the saw box where you're going to reclip. I mean, they stay there. You cut the zip ties off, and you're going to re-zip tie the cords down to the floor, and then on the trunnion, this whole arrangement here, there are two places where these clips are that screw on that hold the cord coming from the connection point for the circuit board inside here to the switch box right here. So they're pretty easy to remember where they go. The idea is to get the wires in the tension that keeps them away from the moving parts. So now we're ready to, I think, nope. Let's see. No, I got one more thing to get off. This will only take a minute. I forgot to disconnect the motor. So I got to disconnect the motor from the contactor box. And that's another one of these metal covers like you have on any motor. So let me get that done real quick. And then we'll pull that whole mess out of there. This off. And this one is with one screw and wire nuts. Just make sure you can see me over there. Black to black. There we go. Get that out of there. Put the screw over here with the box. Okay. Unwind the wires. And pull off. Unscrew. This has these screw-on type grommet thingies. I'll show you in a minute. Get this out of here. And there we have all the old stuff that's going to be replaced by the new stuff. When I was talking about the screw-on, this is what I was talking about. These are screw-on strain relieves that hold everything nice and tight into where they need to go, and that's going to go on the new thingy dingy. So there we go. Those are out. Now let's see what I think the next step is to start putting this electrics back together before I start dealing with the mechanical parts. A couple of little points to ponder. First of all, let me say, obviously, when I'm talking about the left side of the saw, as you're facing it when you're working on it, and the right side is the other side. In my case, the left side of the saw is the belt door as on the drive system, and the right side of the saw is my motor pocket for the motor to swing into. So the limit switches for the doors. These are the switches that will not allow you to start the saw if the doors are not closed. Now the one for the left side door on my saw with the paddle has an angle bracket that has to go in as well. And the angle bracket is threaded on the inside, so you basically put it up against the wall and put the screws in from the outside, and then you have an adjustment here for the paddle itself. The other limit switch, which goes on the motor door, is just a little pushy knob thing like this, and you screw this in place. There's no play in it. You just put it in place and screw it tight. And the thing is about this is this is one of the wires that you use the tie wraps to fasten it down to the floor of the saw. Now the other thing is this is one of those things I was telling you about is the get it off. Anyway, I put it back. I put it on. So this is the strain relief that goes into the bottom of the motor connection box, and obviously I've put it on the new cable, and this little piece with the slots and the tapers on it goes that way, and you got to put the knob on, or the screw part on separately, and then when you get this all done, you go ahead and you tighten that up in place, and it locks the cable in place, and it cannot slip within that connector. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, there's a couple other little details. Let me show you here. Part of the disassembly process to remove the idler pulley, which is this double pulley here, it goes to the motor on this side and to the trunnion, the arbor on this side. The set screws that hold this shaft in place are down in these holes. So you've got to remove your the holder for the riving knife. It's just two big hex bolts, socket head bolts, and then there's more socket head set screws or grub screws inside here. Then you basically gently tap this out. We'll do this on camera. You tap this out. Now I've got new belts for everything. I'm just going to cut these belts off. Just going to cut them off, get them out of the way. So then you knock this trunnion thingy out of the way. I've already disconnected, cut the wires to it. So once this is knocked out, this whole assembly comes off and the new assembly goes in. I think that's the first thing we're going to do. Oh yeah, another thing. It was suggested on Facebook's SawStop users group that I update the dust collection on this saw. There is a new chute system that goes inside this cast piece here that improves the dust collection down to the dust chute. And so I've ordered that, and it should be here in a few days, and I'll take care of that, put that in as well. So now that we've got it all disassembled and relatively clean, relatively speaking, the next step obviously is to do the assembly. We're going to start the assembly in the next video, starting with the electronics, which is required first. And then from there, we'll move on step by step as we put all the new parts in. One of the most difficult things to put on is the little drive belt that goes between the idler pulley and the arbor, because there's no tensioning on this. It's set at the factory distance. So you got to work it on manually, groove by groove by groove, because as you can see, as you know, these are groove belts, ribbed belts. So that's basically going to happen. And when I get these cut off, we can inspect the insides of them and see what kind of condition they're in. So that's it for now. Until next time, you go ahead and make, like I said, you go ahead and make great things out of wood, and I'll continue on with my SawStop upgrade.